This news program is proudly brought to you by Paradise Foods, celebrating 90 years in PNG.
MVIL makes 20.1 million kina dividend payment to KCH. New acting public prosecutor appointed by Minister Niningi. And JICA donates to PNG Power Limited. A very good evening. This is Thursday's news. I'm Godwin Eki. Thank you for joining us. Motor Vehicle Insurance Limited today distributed its final dividend of 20.1 million kina from the audited total net profit after tax of 55.7 million kina for the year 2022 financial year to its shareholder Kumul Consolidated Holdings in Port Moresby. MVIL's Chief Executive Officer Michael Makap and his team, who were present, handed the cheque over to the SOE Minister William Duma in the presence of all its board members. Today, Minister for State-Owned Enterprises William Duma described Motor Vehicle Insurance Limited as one of the best-performing SOEs in the country that continues to deliver and exceed its expectations, performing at the highest level. As a requirement, all state-owned enterprises, including MVIL, are obliged to distribute 50% of their annual net profit as dividends.
The interim dividend we paid in April of 2023 this year. That was an amount of 22.8 million. It's an interim dividend. And the final dividend that we are going to declare and pay now, and the board has already declared and we're going to make presentation, is a dividend of 20.1 million, which brings the total dividend for 2022 financial year to 42.9 million. So that is a 50% of our management account results.
The audited total net profit in 2022 trailed lower by 24% compared to the previous year 2021 audited record of 73.6 million kina.
I thank the Minister for having believed in my board. They are all here with us. They are a very good board. And I would like to think that if anything comes good, we are looking forward to working with you, Minister and MD.
Upon congratulating MVIL board and management, Minister Duma highlighted that it's noteworthy that MVIL has upheld its sustained profitability over the past 3 years, a testament to the adept planning and challenged management of MVIL's leadership.
These owners pay their premiums to MVIL to cover them in case of accident resulting in death and injuries. So it is really a trust for the owners of those vehicles and equipment right throughout the country. So it is incumbent upon anyone who owns either a vehicle or heavy equipment to pay the premium, because when there are accidents, MVIL will then be in your shoes and help you manage the outcome. So that is why we have MVIL, and it's a very important institution of our country.
MD for KCH also stated that MVIL upholds a strong, compliant and resilient balance sheet with ample liquidity to fulfill its obligations. MVIL's plans presented to KCH also indicates that it will continue to the enabling legislation to expand compulsory vehicle insurance. Motor Vehicle Insurance distributed its final dividend of 20.1 million kina from the audited net profit after tax of 55.7 million kina for the year 2022 financial year to its shareholder Kumul Consolidated Holdings in Port Moresby today. Meanwhile, MVIL will remain committed to enhancing its fundamental services across the nation. Minister for State-Owned Enterprises William Duma has challenged all state-owned enterprises to do better and put in the hard work so as to make profits in whatever services they are providing in the country. Minister Duma mentioned this following the presentation done by MVIL, where a check of 20.1 million kina dividend for the year 2022 was received by Kumul Consolidated Holdings.
We sell our SOEs.
Minister Duma today challenged the 10 SOEs in the country that are providing various services to focus on the key functions of their businesses and deliver well with evidence of improvements in sales as a bottom line.
So when you look around, there's not much capital in this country. So invariably you end up selling your own SOE to foreigners. So again, our economy will be controlled by foreigners. So we're better off trying to work out, get the right people in, our own people through experts, to fix what needs to be fixed, and be patient and fix it. And then somewhere down the line, we can sell it for more value, a certain percentage.
He says while other SOEs are struggling to reel in profits, he said PNG Power and Air Niugini have really struggled in their own ways, but the government is doing all it can.
The Marape government has worked very hard. What we've done is we've decided to turn our struggling SOEs around. We've started by carefully selecting our CEOs and members of the board. And in the case of MVIL, what you see are men on the board who've brought to the table their credentials, experience and qualifications.
He said state-owned enterprises are all obliged to distribute 50% of their annual net profit as dividend.
Singapore Airlines, all of these are state-owned entities. None of them are sold off by the Singapore government. The Singapore government still owns them 100%, and yet they're some of the most profitable SOEs in the world. Singapore Airlines is one of the best airlines in the world, for instance. So, do we follow that model, or do we go down the path of selling everything off at rock bottom prices through a fire sale, just because they are not performing? Who have we put in there? Have we put in foreigners or our own people? Our own people. So our own people have this opportunity to turn this company around for themselves and for their children.
Minister Duma referred to MVIL's performance every year, something he wishes all other SOEs will emulate, but stated that all SOEs will be looked into so that they are run by experienced individuals who are there to put in the hard work and in return generate funds to keep the businesses running. Ralph Lumen was appointed as the new acting public prosecutor this afternoon by the Minister for Justice and Attorney General Pela Niningi. Mr. Lumen will be the acting public prosecutor for the next 3 months until a permanent prosecutor is appointed.
The appointment comes after all cases were adjourned following the lapse of the former public prosecutor. Minister for Justice and Attorney General Pela Niningi, during the official appointment of Mr. Luman today, said he was confident in his capability and his experience.
Cases will not proceed or will not go into trials unless and until we have a prosecutor. So now we have a prosecutor, and we have made a decision today, this morning, to appoint Mr. Raphael Luman.
Minister Niningi went on to explain the importance of the public prosecutor's office.
Public prosecutor is under the Constitution. It's a very important office. And the cases will not proceed, as I said, it will not proceed until the public prosecutor is appointed or in office. And he will delegate other appointments or other officers to do it, but main power is where it lies with the public prosecutor.
Rafael Luman, the newly appointed acting public prosecutor, thanked the minister for his trust in him and for the appointment. Luman vowed to serve the judiciary with integrity.
As chairman of the Judicial and Legal Services Commission and members of the commission for their confidence in me for this 3 months appointment. It may not be a long time, 3 months, but I'm sure that we can achieve a number of things in 3 months. Like the minister said, I'm not new to the office. We know where our strengths and weaknesses are, and we know what needs to be addressed.
Tamara Agavi, National Emtv News.
In a significant development for Telecom Limited, a group of its employees recently completed a week-long online course on data analytics and strategic marketing for government schemes and policies graduated today. The course was facilitated by the Indian Institute of Technology in Delhi. Today, they were honored to receive their certificates from their CEO, Amos Tepi, at the Telecom headquarters in Port Moresby.
Telecom PNG CEO Amos Tepi and the Chief Technical Officer of Telecom, Winnie Andreas, presented certificates to the dedicated staff members who successfully participated in the training. The ceremony took place at the Telecom head office in Port Moresby. The courses were aimed at empowering participants with the latest tools and strategies in leveraging data for effective decision-making and marketing initiatives.
I'm so proud to be here today to see, for my first term as a CEO, to see all my staff getting certificate. And it's an honor and a serious note. We haven't done this for a long time. And it is a way forward for us to keep doing this so that we can get more of our staff going to the training.
Furthermore, Telecom Limited received additional recognition as 2 of its staff members were honored for attending the Indian Technical Economic Corporation training program held in India earlier last month. The training was fully sponsored by the Indian Eye Commission in PNG. The 2 participants were also acknowledged during the same ceremony. A female participant of this program had this to say.
The training that we went through, it was more on gender equality. So that was really a challenge for me as a female. Like, I participate in the executive management. It's more like you see only 2 of the ladies in the executive room. So it's really a challenge. So that I leave to the management for you to decide. At least like train women to be part of the executive or like promote gender equality in the organization. Reflecting
back to Elmer Spitz, CEO Tepi challenged all female employees of Telecom and its subsidiaries to step up.
A challenge from what Elmer said about gender equality. We are trying to do that as much as possible. Please give this challenge back to all of you ladies who are in this room. Also, even in our organization as well. Please do step up, It doesn't mean that you are in that role and you'll be there forever.
CEO Tepi said 2024 will be a challenging year for them, but with all the trainings they have gone through, will help them in some areas. Louis Maingu, National Emtv News.
During the presentation of certificates at the Telecom head office today, participants who have completed the week-long online courses on data analytics 1 and strategic marketing for government schemes and policy shared insights of the 2 courses.
A representative of staff that studied the data analytics online course has highlighted the significance of the course in the context of advancing technology, mentioning the growing influence of artificial intelligence.
AI is a fundamental instrument and a component that is well into the future. Telecommunication will definitely have to adjust to and adapt to. So it's very important that we get skills in education that is relevant to the current technology that we have.
Ranson Ganja, a young employee of Telecom who also took part in the online study on the strategic market for government schemes and policies, shared the knowledge he acquired.
The course helped especially a lot in how to manage policies, administers, communicate policies, designing policies in terms of long-term and short-term, and how to market those policies to achieve certain business objectives.
CEO of Telecom, Amos Tepi, when congratulating his officers, said the subjects learned are very important in a business organization, which he further elaborates.
Make a decision at a high level, board, CEO, we need to have a data to make a call on things. Every time we are not going to go ahead and make a decision, we need to see the data. The reports that we collect, the data is the one that will help us to make a decision. So those of you who took the training, it's not that easy that you have to just land and leave it. You need to start working more so that you upskill again from the trainings. I think it's important also from the policy side. Policy is a framework for any organization. If you look at that, not only for organization, but in our government system as well.
This online program taken by the staff of Telecom Limited has been fully funded by the Indian Eye Commission in PNG. This collaborative effort between Telecom Limited and the Indian Eye Commission not only signifies a commitment to education, but also fosters international partnerships for mutual growth. Louis Maingu, National Emtv News.
As the excitement builds up for the 2023 South Pacific Games, Telecom is thrilled to announce its international voice call and data roaming plans catering to their valued customers. These exclusive packages aim to enhance connectivity and communication for the participants of the Pacific Games. This announcement was made by CEO of Telecom Limited, Amos Tepi, today in Port Moresby.
This announcement to every athletes that are going over. We have our own company in Solomon Islands, Onera. That is B-Mobile Solomon Islands. And we are providing mobile service in the country. And we are one of those second mobile business in Solomon Islands. And hence we want to appeal to all the athletes that there is a roaming provided for all the athletes that are going to Solomon Islands to get the SIM, free SIM at the airport, and also get the SIM that will help them to communicate back to Papua New Guinea. Or those ones who are still traveling, they can come over to Telecom kiosks or Telecom retail shops in NCDC to collect all the SIMs that we will give to them. And that's all the SIMs will go as a roaming.
National Emtv News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National Emtv News. Counting for the 2023 Lagaip Supplementary election began yesterday morning at the Wabeg Primary School in the heart of Wabeg town.
20 ballot boxes were transferred to the Wabeg police station under heavy escort by security forces on the ground. According to the returning officer, Mr. Newman Wailo, of the 61 ballot boxes polled, no ballot boxes were disputed or destroyed. Possibly a winner will be declared by the end of this week. A total of 31 candidates have been nominated to contest this maiden seat. Tamara Agavi, National Emtv News.
The once peaceful district of Maprik is now in dire need for help to combat the rising law and order issues affecting the local residents. This was revealed by former Maprik MP John Simon, who is concerned that law and order issues might get out of hand and cause uneasiness in the communities.
In a press conference held yesterday by the former member for Maprik, John Simon, he highlighted that the rising law and order issues are instigated by youths in the district, something he hopes can be fixed by the leaders. He raised this concern following the recent killing of a PMV driver in a hold-up and the burning down of a health center, which has now affected innocent families. Mr. Simon is appealing to the youths in the district to abstain from causing trouble in the communities and along the highway. He emphasized that there are other sustainable means the youths could tap into to make a living out, stating that one such example is by tapping into agriculture.
Along the highway, why are you doing these things? You don't establish settlement. You don't establish lab where you can make in this lab. Please, go na, work coffee na, work cacao na, work vanilla na, work gold na, making money for you. Why should you resort to such things? And you're putting the whole district, the whole community, because of a lousy 100 kina that you go hold up. Lousy 200 kina.
The former member also stated that policing in the district has been weak. Hence, he also made an appeal to the police and PPC in the district to tighten up on their policing duties and do what they can to contain the law and order issues that keeps rising in the district. Gladys Killer, National Emtv News.
The people of Wampar in the UN Gulf held a sit-in protest yesterday demanding answers from the UN Gulf District Development Authority to explain why vehicles bought for them by former MP were retrieved by police.
Spokesperson Jack Roney says a group of policemen from Port Moresby were sent to Ley where they held up 2 trucks and locked up a driver at Malahang Police Station in Ley during the Morobe Show weekend. He says the trucks were brought by former MP Ross Simo and his DDA for SME projects in Wampar LLG. He says around 10 vehicles or more were bought by the former MP and his DDA, and the current DDA had no right to have policemen from Port Moresby retrieve these vehicles, which is unlawful as the trucks were registered under their names and not the district's. He has demanded that both trucks be released by Friday. If not, they will block off government services at Wampar, including the pipeline project for the Wafi Gold Pool mine, which will run through their land. Jefferson Police Station Commander Senior Sergeant Ambrose Mara says they were not aware that police from Port Moresby were in Ley to retrieve the vehicles. He says he checked with the Morobe Provincial Police Commander and the Assistant Commissioner of Police Norton, but they were not aware of some policemen from Port Moresby who came to retrieve the vehicles. Senior Sergeant Mara says if they show letter or court order or resolution from the DDA, the local police will assist them to retrieve the vehicles and give them back to the district. UN Gulf DDA and MP Jason Peter are expected to respond to this soon. Tamara Agavi, National Emtv News.
The Constitutional and Law Reform Commission launched its Gender Equality, Disability and Social Inclusion Policy for staff members today.
The Gender Equality, Disability and Social Inclusion Policy, or JICA, launched today is an effective toolkit to understand JICA issues and how to implement techniques and a variety of methods on how to address relevant issues in JICA space. The benefits of JICA policy will extend to impact stakeholders and the public constitutional and law reform commissions, which regularly engage within law reform work. Constitutional and Law Reform Commission becomes the 4th agency, joining Department of Transport, Department of Information and Technology, and Department of Works and Highways in the public service to launch its internal JICA policy. The commitment witnessed today is a pledge to create an atmosphere where everyone, regardless of gender or background, has equal opportunities to thrive. Louis Maingu, National Emtv News.
The United States Agency for International Development, implemented by Palladium, supports Papua New Guinea's Sustainable Landscape Program in partnership with Fawcett during their week-long vetting workshop held in Ley, Morobe Province.
Throughout the event, 20 practitioners in environment conservation from various stakeholders, including government departments, non-government and community-based organizations, gathered to share the best practices in sustainable land use planning using traditional knowledge, structures and approaches at the community level. In a statement, the Environmental Sustainability Advisor of the USAID PNG Sustainable Landscapes Program welcomed the practitioners and emphasized on the importance of environmental considerations in planning and land use activities. Upon the discussions, they shared their knowledge and insights and suggest actionable items as part of the vetting process for community approach in land use and planning to support the implementation of the National Sustainable Land Use Policy at the sub-national and community level. Gladys Kila, National Emtv News.
And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the Kina closed unchanged at $0.2685 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, Yokina was buying $0.2610 US, $0.3983 Australian dollars, $0.2330 euro, 39.17 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices, at New York closed, gold is trading lower, coffee closed higher, cocoa closed higher, copra closed higher, palm oil closed higher, crude oil is trading lower, and copper closed higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading lower. National Emtv News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National Emtv News. JICA today presented power equipments worth 250,000 kina to PNG Power Limited at its headquarters in Port Moresby.
The equipment donated are hydraulic compressor, winch, battery tester, surge arrestor, leakage and current measuring instrument, among others. These equipments are meant to improve PNG Power's capacity of system planning for transmission lines and maintenance for substations. According to the acting CEO for PPL, Nimaya Naris, the project for the improvement of planning and operation power system was implemented by JICA, which started in March 2022 and will end in March 2025. This is a technical cooperation project to strengthen the system planning capacity, the maintenance capacity of transmission line and substations, and protection coordination capacity for PPL. It is also a technical project through which knowledge and skills are transferred through an expert who will work closely with PPL to implement this project. Under this project, 20 PPL staff was also sent abroad to Japan to undergo training this year. Speaking on behalf of JICA before presenting the equipment was Matsuoka Haidaki. He said he hopes these equipment will be fully utilized for the good work of PPL. He said JICA is currently working with PPL to reinforce the Ramu transmission system. In this project, more than 130 kilometers of transmission lines are being installed from Ramu Hydro 1 power station to Taraka substation in Morobe province. He said this project is anticipated to be completed by May 2024. Gladys Kila, National Emtv News.
A hub for the night every Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. The Boroko night market opens to create opportunity for many local SMEs owners to earn an income by selling their products.
Yesterday was the 10th night market that had a huge turn-up without any security issues. Boroko Night Market is under the transformation project of restoring nightlife and achieving the vision of having a clean, healthy, planned and livable city for the residents. Apart from food, arts and craft, they also have mini barbershops, corporate stalls like Bank South Pacific, stationed and entertain those who gathered. Gladys Kila, National Emtv News.
And stories making headlines overseas. Residents of Northern Australia have been affected by the recent outbreak of COVID-19 as 24 confirmed cases have been reported.
Well, there have been 24 confirmed cases of COVID among residents here at the Old Timers Village in Alice Springs, which is about a third of the residents. There's also been a number of staff who have been infected, but the facility have said that most of these residents are displaying few or no symptoms at all. However, we do know at least one has been taken to the Alice Springs Hospital for further observations. They've also said that almost all of the residents here are fully vaccinated, and they believe that is why their response to the virus has been less severe than it could have been otherwise. Now, this does feel like a story that's a throwback to 2021, and we've seen the Northern Territory Council on the Ageing implore the NT government to reignite some of those health messaging campaigns that we saw back then. Things around hand washing and wearing masks in crowded social settings. They've said they're particularly worried about residents in the NT, given our large vulnerable population, with many Indigenous people already grappling with some pre-existing health conditions.
Temperatures in Queensland, Australia are expected to soar as authorities are predicting a heatwave that is going to grip the western part of the state.
We're looking at tops of 44 degrees here in Longreach and in Booyah, 43 in Winton and 42 in Barkey and Blackall. So definitely hot temperatures. It is worth mentioning that temperatures in the 40 degrees mark, that's nothing new to people out here. No one's shocked per se, and it's sort of part and parcel with living in the outback. But it is worth mentioning that it is a low intensity to severe heat wave for many parts of the outback, and that means that your temperatures are hot during the day, but they're also hot overnight and in the morning. So that's something that's worth keeping your eyes on. And just last night I was walking home at 9:30 from somewhere, and I won't go too much further into that, but it was 35 degrees, so it was nice and warm, and it's that lack of relief that people are getting out here that is what's worth thinking about. But for people that are forced to work outside, that really don't have much choice to make a crust, they're basically relying on the tried and tested methods. They're covering up, they're trying to work in the shade where possible. Just yesterday I was speaking with Robert Kempson, he's a painter in town. Him and his crew were at a number of different houses working outside in the sun. It was a hot day, and he was saying that if they don't work during the 5 months of the year where you're getting temperatures like this, they wouldn't make any money. So they've had to sort of tough it out, try and keep it as safe as possible, schedule things so they're working indoors wherever they can, but like I said, sometimes that's just not avoidable. They say sometimes you're working in the shade and it's fine, and you walk out and you go to pick up a tool that's been left in the sun and it melts in your hand pretty much, so it can definitely get plenty hot out here.
National Emtv News continues after the break with Trukai Sports. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The country's national games has been deferred once again, leaving many regional sports foundations and committees disappointed and disgruntled. The PNG Games was previously scheduled for the 6th to the 10th of December. This, however, has been scrapped and deferred again to January next year. The 8 PNG Games to be hosted in Southern Highlands Province did not eventuate due to the province's unpreparedness, pushing it forward to this year in November in Central and NCD. The Central and NCD governments were to host this year's National Games from the 6th to the 14th of December in the nation's capital. This, however, will not eventuate as per direction from the national government and the Minister for Dehest and Sports, who is also the chairman for the PNG Games Council, Don Pollier. The Advisor Committee Development Division in the Central Provincial Government Office, Mr. Henry Kavanagh, said that the main reason for the deferral was the South Pacific Games.
Let's hold the games on the rescheduled date from the 10th to the 28th of January, and that's the time our teams from the Pacific Games should be back. So they should be able to, all the national federations should be having their technical officers up there, should be able to return to help us to run the games.
The PNG Games will now fall on the 10th to the 28th of January next year, and Mr. Kavana said many provincial governments are demanding that this be the last postponement.
The Advisor Community Development Division in the Central Provincial Government, Henry Kavana, stressed the challenges that the deferral of the PNG Games has on the provincial governments, their sports divisions and the athletes.
Deferment is not going well with us at the provinces. It's costing us a lot of money. And like on our WhatsApp group, a lot of provinces have been complaining about the deferment because of practically what I've told you before. Now to hold our teams that are already selected for us in Central Province, it's about 383. And they are coming in from different, like I said, different districts. Now, to keep them until 10 to 20, it's going to cost us money now. Because if we leave them to go back, we don't know their fitness level now. And some of them might be involved in some mishaps during the Christmas period.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
You're watching Trukai Sports. Moving to overseas sports now in cricket. Indian cricket superstar Virat Kohli has made history in the Cricket World Cup as the first player to reach 50 in the one-day international centuries.
He's charging for the second. He will get the second. Number 50 arrives for Virat Kohli, and he stands alone aloft on that summit. Nobody else there. And that feeling of achievement will be tinged with a little bit of humility in the fact that he's gone past someone that he absolutely adored. But what a career this is. 50 one-day hundreds. 50. Just let that sink in a little bit. Say it gently. 50 one-day international hundreds.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. The 35-year-old's knock helped India set a lofty total of 397 for New Zealand to chase. Kohli described his achievement as a dream come true.
Anushka was sitting right there. Sachin Paji was there in the stands. I mean, I mean, it's very difficult for me to explain this, but if I could paint a perfect picture, I would want this to be, the picture. My life partner, the person I love the most, she's sitting there. My hero, he's sitting there. And I was able to get the 50th in front of all of them and all these fans in Wankhede as well. Such a historic venue, so it was amazing.
Bowler Mohammad Shami was instrumental for India, taking 7 wickets to help steer the host nation into the World Cup final.
The Socceroos has been preparing for the second stage of the Soccer World Cup qualifiers in Asia and are now ready to begin their World Cup campaign.
They'll play Bangladesh in Melbourne tonight. Graham Arnold, the coach, will announce his team just before kick-off. They're quite a young squad lining up for the Socceroos. They'll also play games against Palestine and Lebanon in a home and away match against each of those 3 teams all up. The top 2 from this group will now move through to the next round. So a big clash to get it underway. But given the World Cup has expanded, there will now be 8 teams from Asia qualifying instead of the usual 4. This will probably be the easiest route to the World Cup for the Socceroos.
The Sydney Flames were victorious over the Canberra Capitals last night in the National Women's Basketball League at the Sydney Olympic Park.
Yeah, the Sydney Flames, a good win over the Canberra Capitals. It was 86-81, so pretty close in the end at Sydney Olympic Park. Lauren Nicholson, a clear standout for the winning side. 25 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists in this performance. Jade Melbourne scored 31 points in a losing side. So the Flames now 2 wins and 2 losses in 5th position on the ladder. The Capitals are last in 8th spot with no wins and 3 losses so far.
That ends Trukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
Weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Southern region, Port Moresby, Kerema and Alatau, partly cloudy. Daru mostly fine. Popondetta, partly cloudy with few showers. In the Mamase region, Lae and Medang, some rain showers and drizzle. Wewak and Vanimo, cloudy with few rain showers and thunderstorm. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, partly cloudy. Kavieng, partly cloudy with possible brief showers. Kokopo and Rabaul, partly cloudy with chances of a shower or two. Kimbe, partly cloudy with brief showers. Buka, partly cloudy. And in the Highlands region, all centres partly cloudy with brief patchy showers, drizzled and morning fog.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Thursday, the 16th of November 2023. From all of us here, pleasant viewing. Good night.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Paradise Foods, celebrating 90 years in PNG.